Good morning, dear students. As you all know, that chapter 1 reflection of the points we have already discussed, we have already studied. Now, here I will be discussing distance and section formula. Now, as you all have seen in chapter 1, what we have seen is that how a point is being reflected when a point is in any of the coordinate, then we have seen how to reflect this point in x-axis. Then what was the condition? If xy is given, then this new point will become x minus of y. If this point is to be reflected in y-axis, then it was called as minus x comma y. That means the only value of x was changing when it was reflected in y. The only value of y was changing when in reflected in x-axis. Means just opposite. If I have x, then I have to change y. If I have y, then I have to change x. This was first case. Third was like when we have a point and when it is reflected in origin, that means both the sign of the coordinate was changing, and this was like minus x minus y. Or else if a point is reflected two times, if once it is reflected in y and then in x, then it was also called as that reflection is in origin, or directly it was in origin. Then one more thing we have seen, that when a point is reflected in a line AB which is running either parallel to AB, or a line LM either running parallel to y axis, and there was certain changes in the coordinate depending upon a value and this a value, right? So here it was the point like x minus y plus of 2a, and here it was like minus x plus of 2a minus of y. In this way this point was being reflected. Now here we have to see the distance of 2 points, the distance between 2 points. Here only we have seen one points being reflected. Now the question says that if I have 2 points, then what will be the distance between these 2 points? When we have 2 points, then what will be the distance between 2 points? To learn this, let us draw one xy plane in which we will be having two different points. Suppose I have one point here, another point here. Okay. Now this point coordinate I have marked it as x1 comma y1, and this point as x2 comma y2, right? Now if these 2 points are being reflected and all those things, if this 2 point will be reflected, definitely with reference to x-axis, in reflection in x-axis, the length is not going to change, and in reflection in y-axis also, the length will not change. The length is not going to change whenever a thing is reflected in with respect to plane mirror, right? Now the question says how to find the distance between these 2 points. These 2 points will be when we will join these 2 points, we will get a line. Now how to find the distance between these 2 points? So as you all can see, we can draw one perpendicular from here on x-axis, and what will be the length from here to here? It will be y, because y1 is here, right? Y1, and this is y2, this is x1, this is x2. Now to calculate the point, I have drawn one perpendicular. So what is the length of this much? Again one line, one perpendicular I can draw. So I am getting a right angle triangle here. I am getting a right angle triangle, and we have to find the length of the hypotenuse. If I know the length of the base and the length of the height, obviously I will be able to find the length of the hypotenuse. So from here to here it measures x2, and from here to here it measures x1. So this much distance will be equal to x2 minus x1. Yes or no? From here, from this point to this point, it is x2, and from this point to this point, it is x1. So x2 minus x1 will give me this remaining point. Similarly, here also we are having from y2, and this is y1, right? So y2 minus y1 will give me the height distance, this perpendicular height y2 minus y1, considering this as theta. Okay. So to calculate the hypotenuse, we have Pythagoras theorem, that is distance square will be equal to, or distance can be written as h square also. H square is equal to d square is equal to root under of x2 minus x1, x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So from here we got From here we got that distance between 2 points is always measured as difference of x square, difference of x coordinate square plus difference of y coordinate square, or we can say here instead of writing x coordinate we can write abscissa also, abscissa, abscissa, and this is ordinate, distance of ordinate and distance of abscissa square. Now, so we got the formula that this formula is actually called as distance formula. This formula is called as distance formula. Okay, so we are going to study out this only distance as well as section formula. So in this lecture right now I will be teaching you distance formula. In the next lecture I will be teaching you section formula, in which the lines will be divided into certain ratios, and then how to calculate the length, how to calculate the portion, and all those things we will be seeing in the next lecture, upcoming video lecture. Now, so this is called distance formula. Now if I have a point, suppose I have to calculate the distance between this point and the origin. So I have marked it as x1, y1, right? This will be called as x2, y2. Now, instead of this x2, y2, do you know, all of us know that this origin is also called as 0, 0 point. So if I put the formula, distance will be equal to x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. So here I am having x2 is equal to 0. So 0 minus x1 square plus 0 minus y2, y1 square. 0 minus y1 square. Now if you simplify this, it will be simply as x1 square plus y1 square. x1 square plus y1 square. So what do you understand? What did you get from the what point did you get from here is that when a point is measured, when the distance is measured from the origin to that particular point, it is actually the square of that point only. We will neglect the origin 0, 0. We need not put. So directly we can write x1 square plus x2 square, y1 square is equal to distance from origin to that point, distance of origin to that point, distance from origin to that point. Okay. So this is the main important things that we have to learn. All of you have must studied in class 9th already in distance and section formula. This chapter was there, distance formula was there, section formula is included as a part of your 10th class syllabus. So I don't think so there will be any problem in calculating the numerical problems based on this concept, based on these formulas. Now what we have to see, when a triangle is there, isosceles triangle, first let me clean the board. Now in this chapter mostly we have proving parts and calculation of length and all those other sides. Suppose I have an isosceles triangle, and all of us know that in isosceles triangle any of the two sides will be equal. Suppose I have A, B, C as an isosceles triangle. Then if they ask you to find the length of AB, BA, or prove, mostly they will ask you to prove whether the given triangle, whether the given 3 points form an equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle, right angle triangle, or whatsoever. They will ask you, they will give you 3 points, and then they will ask you to find whether the given points form a triangle, and that triangle is either it is a isosceles triangle, equilateral triangle, or right angle triangle. Sometimes they may ask you a scalene triangle, or comment on the type of triangle also. So to find out all those things, what you are supposed to do, when 3 points are given, suppose you name them as x1, y1, then x2, y2, and then x3, y3. Now if they ask you what type of triangle it is, so your first task will be distance z1 you will calculate, and you can calculate as x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. Then distance d2 can be found as x2 minus of x3 whole square plus y2 minus y3 of whole square. Distance d3 can be calculated as x3 minus of x1 whole square plus y3 minus of y1 whole square. Now as you all can see in the previous formula, what I have mentioned x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1. Okay, now whatever may be you write, this is actually the difference of abscissa, this is the difference of coordinate ordinate. Now anything square of any negative number will always give you positive. Suppose x1 minus x2 you got 2 and y1 minus y2 you got 2 or 3. Now its square will give you what? Will be equal to 4. This will also equal to 9, right? Now if you write x2 minus x1 and y2 minus y1 square, it will give you minus 2, this will give you minus 3. Even if you square this, then also you will be having 9. So square of any negative number will always be positive. So from here also you will get positive number, from here also you will get positive number. So distance will be ultimately a positive number. Distance will be a positive number because distance is equal to positive number square or positive number plus positive number. Okay, positive plus positive will give you positive number and it will be root. So definitely the distance is always measured in positive quantities. It cannot be negative. We cannot say that AB is equal to minus of 5 units. AB is equal to minus of 5 units. We cannot say, right? So what I wanted to say, that whatever you write x2 minus x1, x3 minus x2, x1 minus x3. Nothing is wrong in that. You are not going to get incorrect answers. Actually, it is a positive number square only. Negative number square will always be a positive number. So sum of positive will always be a positive and distance will be positive. Now, after calculating all these things, three distances, now you have to see what type of triangle are they forming. Suppose here you got 10, here you got 10, and here you are getting 2 root 10 for an example, or 10 root 2, let's take. Then what type of triangle it is? It is an isosceles triangle, right? 10, 10, 20, and then two sides are equal, third side is very what do you call, difference is different, means the length is different units. So obviously it is an isosceles triangle. If it will be, they will ask you whether it is a right angle triangle, then one side you may get 3, another side you may get 4, another side you may get 5. Now if this type of situation comes, then obviously this is a tripline, Pythagoras tripline, and all of us know that Pythagoras tripline means highest longest side will be 5 units and the remaining smaller sides will be either 3 and 4. So in this way you have to first of all calculate the length of the sides of the triangles, and then you have to compare, you have to see which type of triangle we are obtaining, which type of triangle we will be getting once we will plot all these points. So we are not supposed to plot actually, but we are supposed to just calculate and prove it. Now second, they may ask you, like they will ask you that certain 4 points are given, 4 points are given, same way you will mark x1 y1, then you will say x2 y2, you will assume this, then x3 y3, and then x4 y4, x4 y4. Now if they have given 4 points and they are asking you to comment on the type of the plane figure that we will obtain. So first task is to find out the distance of this side, means d1 you will calculate, right, like x1 minus of x1 minus x4, okay, x1 minus x4 square plus y1 minus y4, y1 minus y4 square. Then you will calculate d2 is equal to, d2 will be equal to x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square. Then you will calculate d3, this distance also you will calculate, x3 minus x2 square plus y3 minus y1 y2, sorry, 2 is there. Then you will calculate d4, that is x4 minus x3 whole square plus y4 minus y3 whole square. After calculating all the 4 sides, if you observe that this side is equal to this side, this side is equal to this side, then what conclusion you can say? Can you say that this is a parallelogram? Can you say that it is a rectangle? Can you say that it is a square? No, different sets are there. You can only say that it is a quadrilateral right now. Now once you prove that, once you have to prove like this, if it is opposite sides are equal, then in this case you can say this is a parallelogram also. Then in the opposite sides are equal, you can say also it is a rectangle, provided you prove that the diagonals are equal. Prove that the diagonals are equal, because in case of rectangle, if two diagonals are equal and opposite sides are equal, then only we can say that it is a rectangle. So again your task will be to calculate like d5. d5 will be like x4 minus x2 whole square plus y4 minus y2 whole square. This one, and then you will calculate d6. d6 will be like x3 minus x1 whole square plus y3 minus y1 whole square. If these two sides are equal, and d1 is equal to d4, d1 is equal to d4, d2 is equal to d3, d2, where is d2? This one, x2 minus x1, x2, no, d2 is this one, and then x4, x3, x4, x3. If these two are equal and these two are equal, then you can say that it is a rectangle, right? It is a rectangle because diagonals are equal and opposite sides are equal, so definitely it is a rectangle. Then only this Pythagoras theorem was this line was equal to this line, is this diagonal. Now if it is a square, again what you have to see that all the four sides are equal. And then you have to see one more thing, diagonals you have to never forget in case of rectangle and square. Opposite side plus the diagonal should be equal, then only we can say that it is a square. In this case diagonals are equal, opposite sides are equal, then it is a rectangle. Now if they say parallelogram, then opposite sides are equal, then it is fine, no problem. Now another type we have like in case of right angle triangle, I already told you that you have to apply Pythagoras theorem. If it is an isosceles triangle, you have to see all the two sides are equal. Equilateral triangle, all the three sides will be equal. Pythagoras formula should be applicable, like in this example I gave you. Now third we have quadrilateral, opposite sides are equal. Quadrilaterals with a diagonal equal, that means it is a rectangle. Then parallelogram. Then see what I told you right now, that opposite sides are equal, then it is a parallelogram. If opposite sides are equal plus diagonals are equal, then it is a rectangle. If opposite sides are equal and all diagonals are equal, then it is a square. If only opposite sides are equal, all the four sides are equal measurement, then this will be called as a rhombus, like in case opposite sides were equal. Now fourth, fifth, sixth point are that diagonals equal. Okay, now to find out the distance, if I have a circle and they have said that we have one fixed point and the other point is lying on the circle. Suppose they have given that we have a circle in which one of the fixed point is coordinate is given and the other point is lying on the circle. That means here you can assume this is x1 y1, this you can assume x2 y2. Then the distance between these two will be called as the radius. Okay, the distance will be called as the radius, and then they will ask you what is the length of the diameter. Actually they will give you the coordinates for radius, but they will ask you the length of the diameter. So first task is to calculate the radius and then double that radius, it will be equal to diameter. Now one more thing, like sometimes they will give you a circle and then they will say that is one point is in the center, one point is the center of the circle, and one line is passing through the center, and its unit is, say for example, 20. Understood? So here you are having like x1 y1 certain points will be given, and then they will say one line is passing through the center and they are meeting on the two sides of the circles. So obviously this whole length will be equal to 20 units, that is actually diameter. So radius will be equal to 10 units. Now they will ask you what is the coordinate of this axis. So here they have already given the numerical value, say for example 5, 4, and then they will ask you what is the coordinate of this point. So all of you know that this coordinate, so here you have to assume x1, x2 y2 x2 y2, and then you will apply the formula like x2 minus of 5 whole square plus y2 minus of 4 whole square will be equal to 10 square, because whole length was 20, half length will be 10, it is a radius. So from here you will compare and then you will calculate. Now here you are having two variables and only one equations, so definitely they will give one more condition that either of the x coordinate is 0, or they will say that this x value is certain double of x or triple of x. They will give you the conditions in such a way that with the help of one equation only you all will be able to solve the problems and you will get the answers. Now to understand all the other things, all these things, one more, okay, to understand one more thing, that is collinearity. What is collinearity? Whenever we have 3 points, 3 or more points, and all the 3 or more points are lying on the straight line, then that points are said to be collinear. Suppose I have a straight line, okay, now one point is lying here, another point is lying here, another point is lying here, then all these 3 points will be called as collinear. If I have another straight line and one point is here, another point is here, another point is outside this line, then these 3 points are not said to be collinear. If they are not collinear, then definitely they will form what? They will form a triangle at the joint, because the minimum points required to form a triangle is 3 points. The minimum number of points to form a line is 2 points. Whenever we have 2 points, we can form a one single line. Whenever we have 3 points, we can form a triangle. Now, if these 3 points are there and they are not lying on the same line, definitely they will form a triangle. Suppose I have this again. Even if it is near to this board, near to this line, then also it will form a small triangle. Yes or no? Yes, it is obviously it will form a triangle. Now to prove that whether the given 3 points are collinear, we have actually 3 formulas right now, which I am going to teach you, but only 2 formulas I will be discussing right now, and the third formula I will teach when we will be starting our new fresh chapter. Okay. Now to calculate, to see whether the given 3 points are collinear, then what you have to see, first you have to find the distance of D1, distance AB, then distance BC, and distance AC. Okay, you have to find the length AB, BC, and AC, means these two distance length, these two distance, and these three. Okay. Now, if AB plus BC is equal to AC, then we can say that the 3 points are collinear. Or I may not be having B here. Suppose in this case right now I have marked it B here. I can be having C here, here A, here B. Then what we have to find, AC plus CB should be equal to AB. This case also can come. Now another case can come like A I am having here, B here, C here. So I will be have to calculate BA plus AC is equal to BC, like this, and so on. The combination will vary depending upon the naming of this middle point and third middle, or the point lying between these 2 points. Okay, so this is one of the method, and I feel like this is a bit like tiresome. Okay, you have to calculate and then you have to analyze. Now the another formula which is not given in our book is that we can use, let us assume 3 points. Here only we have assumed 3 points, and we don't know the name of those points. We don't know the name of the points. We don't know where these points are lying actually. In this case, it was mentioned that B is in here, A is here, C is here. So we were just framing using the formula and then calculating the answers, and then we were using adding and then getting the answers. Now if I have 3 points and we don't know where these points are lying, whether they are lying in between these two or they are on the corner side or whatsoever, then the calculation of 3 units, 3 distances means is a very tough task. One distance, then second, like for AB you will use, BC you will see, and then AC you will see. So 3 times you have to use all these formulas, and then you have to see. Then also if you get a root values in root certain, then again there will be a problem. So to overcome this, I have one formula, though it is not given in our book. It is actually a part of our this chapter only, but it is not part of our ICSE syllabus. Okay, So what we can do, we can mark this as x1 y1, another point as x2 y2, wherever it is lying, I don't know, I don't bother about that. 3 points are given and then we will name this. After that I will write area of triangle is equal to half, okay, half into x1 bracket x2 bracket again plus x3. Okay, let me clean so that I can write in a straight line. So area of triangle is equal to half into x1 bracket x2 bracket x3 and bracket. Correct. Now this thing we have done. Now in x1 what we will write, I will write y2 minus of y3, x2 will be equal to y3 minus of y1, here it will be y1 minus of y2. Okay, if after calculating this you are getting equal to 0, after calculating certain value at the last line, if you are getting this is equal to 0, then the conclusion comes here that the 3 points are not forming a triangle, because whenever there will be a formation of a triangle, obviously there will be the area of that triangle, whatever may be the size. Even if we have very small triangle, then also I will be having certain area for that triangle. For a straight line we don't have any area. A line does not have any area, it does not have any breadth. It has length but it does not have breadth. If it does not have breadth or width, then definitely the area will not be there, right? If it will be having certain area, certain space also, then also area will be there. So to prove that whether the 3 points are collinear, if you are able to find area of a triangle is equal to 0, prove that area of a triangle is equal to 0, then you can say that the 3 points are collinear. Now the question arises how to remember this one. How to remember, it is a one new formula again we have to understand. So the very first concept, you see what I have done, I wrote x1, then here x2, then here x3, right? After that plus plus plus, as it was in case of distance formula, something difference here plus difference here plus difference here. So difference is there, difference is there, difference is there. Now x1 x2 x3 plus plus plus. Now if I have used x1 here, I have used the remaining two in a sequence order, in a sequence like x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3. When I have used x1, I have not used y1. I have not used y1, but I have used y2 and y3. So I wrote y2 minus y3. When I have used x2, I have just hidden this and then I wrote the remaining y3. Then I have came in a sequence as y1. Okay. Then I have used x3. Then I have covered this one. So I have already reached here. So what I wrote, a y1 minus y2. y1 minus y2. Now if you can remember, you can see y2, x1, y2, y3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. And one more thing, if I have used y3, again I have used here only y3. If I used y1, again I have used y1 here. Correct? Here if I have used y3, I have used y3. Here I have used y1, so here also y1. So remaining y2 is same. Correct? This way also you can remember y3, y3, y1, y1, y2, y2. Now one more way to remember is this formula is like, you write here x1, if you have to remember, just you write in rough part always whenever you have problem confusion, x1 y1, x2 y2, x3 y3, x1 y1, like this. Now you multiply this, okay, x1 into y2, x1 y2 plus x2 y3, x2 y3 plus x3 y1 plus x3 y1. After this much calculation, what you have to do, this near to from down to up when you are going, you have to subtract minus of x2 y1. When you go from here, then you again subtract x3 y2, x3 y2, then this is left, then again you write x1 by 3 minus x1 by 3. So this is the entire formula. If you open this bracket, you will get this term only. So whichever way, whichever method you like to understand, just to understand and try to understand by heart this x1, x2, y, x3. Then if x1 is here, so I will be using y2. Then next to that is y3. Then y3 is when it is y3, then I have to use y3. x2 is there, so I cannot use y2. I have left with y1 only. When y1 is here, I am writing y1. I cannot use y3. I will be using y2. So here the sequence is there 1 2 2 3. Here 3 1. So in this way you all can understand and you can apply the formula and then calculate the area of the triangle. If the area of the triangle is equal to 0, then definitely that 3 points are collinear. In the same way, if you have 4 points also, you can find out the points. Now all these questions of exercise 2 are very simple. I have seen in some of the questions you may be having language problem, you may not be able to understand, but if you read once and twice those problems, definitely you all will be able to solve. If not, then at least go through the examples and try to understand the problems and solve. In this video lecture, I have already discussed about that formulas that we use for calculating the distance and various types of figures in which we will be asked to find out the name of the figure or comment on the nature of that figure or something like that. And then I have used one new formula, that is area of triangle formula, to check the collinearity of the points. Now this much is enough for you all to understand the chapters and start the question numerical problems calculation. If you have any problem, you all can ask. In the upcoming lectures I will be discussing 1 or 2 problems so that it will be more clear for you. And I can, since this video is going to be very lengthy right now, so I'm not going to continue this part right now. Okay, thank you.